the reason that I wanted to be today with you is to describe a book that I wrote recently, and it's entitled Tales from Tibet. And today I have with me, this is Tashi. She's a 3-year-old Tibetan Terrier. And about 2.5 years ago, we had a Tibetan Terrier named Sashi, and she was 8 years old. And the breed lives to about 19 years in life. So it's one of the longest living breeds. And but Sashi got sick. And so when she got cancer and died, we were pretty heartbroken. And in part of my healing, Aaliyah, I was asked to sort of write down what Sashi had meant to me as a man. And so I kept a journal of what she had meant to me. And then we found a new one, a little 8-week-old. This is Tashi. So Tashi came into our life shortly after we lost Sashi, and it dawned on me that what an 8-week-old could learn from an 8-year-old is a lot of what I think a young boy or girl could learn from an older sibling or a parent. So I started writing it down, and it grew into a book entitled Tales from Tibet. So Tashi wonders where they come from, and she hears about what a family tree is. And so what happens is a golden eagle from Tibet hears them and picks them up on his wings and takes them off to Tibet. So for the next 10 chapters, the two are looking for the lost valley of Tibet. And almost like in the Lost Horizon, the Lost Valley of Tibet. And throughout the 10 chapters, they encounter issues. They learn about issues of trust and loyalty and kindness and standing up for what's right and bravery and perseverance and a lot of good qualities that I feel a young boy or girl can learn too to propel them in life.
That's amazing. Now is this created? Who is this written for? Is this
the target audience is really 7 to 12 years old.
Okay.
So it came out on Amazon in May, and it's breaking all kinds of records on Amazon.
Can you flip through the pages? I just want to see the.
Well, I wanted to show you more than that.
Nice.
I was able to find a young woman in Poland did 61 watercolor illustrations, and it's just been phenomenal. So the people are sort of interested in the bind. We've got posters and jigsaw puzzles made from the different illustrations, but this is an example of the two of them where little Tashi's wanting to know where she came from.
Aww.
And how the story begins. And then while they're on their way up in Tibet, they encounter a temple, and they learn a lot from the holy men there as they're going on their journey to the Lost Valley. And it's broken a lot of records already, touched a lot of lives, and it's people in 19 countries, Leah, have already bought the book. Wow. So it's really become a pretty big deal.
Tell me about that experience of writing a book. Have you written anything before?
Never written anything. Written a lot. A lot of people have followed me on Facebook, and they've told me that they like my posts are sort of positive, a lot of full of positive thoughts and leadership, and I love history. So a few of my friends, upon learning when we lost Sashi, they said, you ought to write a book about your leadership, your interest in leadership and history, and tie it in with their dogs. And that's sort of how it all came together. So I've really had a passion for leadership development for 40 years and a love of history. And then when the dogs came into our lives, it really, it all came together.
That's great. That's great. Now, in terms of marketing this book, I know you said you had a Facebook following, and then you've got it on Amazon, and it's already organically getting a lot of traction. Is there any other tips or strategies that you've done?
Well, yes, we've like I said, it's just in 5 months. We've had probably 12 different events where we've been in classrooms and libraries, festivals. So reading to the children has been wonderful. There is a website of the Tashi Chronicles, and so there's a separate Facebook and a separate website for the Tashi Chronicles, because my publisher is Tremendous Life Books, and they're encouraging me to make this into a trilogy. So there's a lot of interest in this being the first of 3 books of the story of the 2 dogs.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
it's there's actually talk of a movie, and there's some interest already in some animated short films and maybe even a feature movie.
You know, anything that involves dogs
Yeah.
and that whole theme just always takes off, I feel
Well,
like.
I'm glad to hear you feel that way, because you remind me so much of my conversations with Tracy Jones, my publisher, and she said that this age group of 7 to 12 is sort of overlooked. That the 12 years old, they sort of get interested in other things and get distracted, but from 7 to 12 is a pretty sort of ripe audience for instilling in them some leadership lessons. And then when you add to it that they're learning about Tibet, which is sort of the colors are so beautiful and it's sort of an enchanting part of the world. And when you combine that and then learning from the dogs, they thought it was a pretty winning formula for a successful book.
I love that. And now, so what is the impact that you're hoping that your book is going to make?
Well, just getting some kids in getting these lessons ingrained in their lives early. And I think we're already seeing that. Hundreds and hundreds already have been touched. So just in 6 months, we're seeing that if they can get them started in that direction and enjoying learning what it means to persevere and overcome problems and standing up for what's right, I think there's some pretty basic principles that we're seeing already that they're getting them sort of worked into their lives.
Now, did something happen? I know you said that you have a background in leadership and
Yep.
development, and then it all kind of tied together. Was there anything specific that happened that you feel like that 7 to 12-year-old age group and
Well, it really when I was describing about losing Sashi and how grief-stricken I was, and the counselor and therapist that I worked with encouraging me to write it down, when little Tashi came along, it did remind me so much of my years in the Boy Scouts. So that age group of about 8 to 12 paralleled with what I was thinking about for writing. So it's tied really to the 12 tenets of the Scout Law, and it each chapter is picks up on those same principles that had really come into my life during the same years as a Boy Scout.
I love that. Now, so you're involved in the community in a lot of other ways,
Yeah.
right? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, just really care a lot about Loudoun County, care a lot about all the activities here, stay involved both politically, was involved for 12 years with the Rotary Club here, stayed still involved with so many activities, very involved with our church as a Christian Fellowship Church. And so it's just try to find a lot of places to volunteer and places to really provide some service.
Why is that important to you?
I think it's all important. I think at sort of a chapter or a season in my life where giving back is so critical. I sort of believe in sort of the adage of Mother Teresa and some of the great football coaches about just sort of leaving it all on the field, and sort of there's a little more oil in my lamp, and I think I just want it all spent when it's all said and done. So I feel blessed that a lot has come to me, and I think in turn there's a lot that I need to be doing to pass that on. So the book is a little bit about passing it on to another generation or two more generations after me to keep it going. But the idea of figuring out places that I can serve now and give back to the community is, I think, very important.
What's some advice that you'd give to other leaders in our community that are wanting to be more involved and spend a little more of that oil?
Great question. Just do it. Just get involved. It's never about time. You'll make time for what's important to you. And so we're all busy. It's really a carrying your card here in Northern Virginia to say how busy we all are, but that doesn't move the dial at all with me. My mother always said that she passed away at 96, and she always told me if you want something done, you give it to a busy man or a woman. But you give it to a busy person because they know how to manage their time. We all have 1,440 minutes in every day, so it's how we use them. And you'll make time for those things that are important to you. And I always was told that if you want to find out what's really important in a person's life, look at their calendar. And so that's what I would say to the future leaders, the young 40 age group of leaders that are taking over of all the Loudoun County and beyond. Just make time for what's important. Figure out what's important to you. Begin working on your legacy now.
Yeah.
And you've done a lot of it in your work. So you just do it. You plug in. You get involved. You stay busy. You just figure out where you can be making an impact, where you can be living a life of purpose. There's a lot of emphasis on that now, and I think a lot of us are trying to make sure that we are trying to make a difference. So just it has to be intentional, would be what I would say to the leaders.
And how do you figure that out? Because I know there's so many different places you can get involved in. You just named out like 5 different places that you're involved in. Right. How do you know, like, if you don't feel like you're pulled to something right now, how do you figure that out?
Well, just keep looking. You'll know when prayer is important to me. I think you'll seek the counsel of a close circle of friends. Try a few things out. Attend a few meetings. Attend a few groups. See where they've been. See where they want to be going. See how your gifts can maybe help them. And if there's not a good fit, if the chemistry doesn't seem right, try something else, or swing back around another time if the timing's not quite right. But just keep looking. There's so many areas, so many places, and so many places that need strong leaders. And that's what every inscription of hundreds and hundreds of books that I've inscribed right now to parents, to grandparents, to young children, is we are desperately in need of strong leaders and leaders at all levels.
Yeah.
So it's not about a title. It's not about a business card. You can be a leader wherever you are and get plugged in and volunteer and see where you can help. And I think it'll come back to you fourfold.
I agree. So what is Philip doing outside of writing books, best-selling books, as well as leading all the different local community organizations and having fun with?
Yeah, it's 2023 was consumed pretty much by the book and the marketing of the book when it came out in the spring. So the past 6, 7, 8 months have all been about launching and putting in place a pretty serious marketing effort for the book. As I look to 2024, I am trying to be a little more judicious in some of the where I'm spending my time. The book will remain very important, and concentrating on quality time with my wife Donna, and as I said, our church has been very important to me. I hope to be involved on the board of Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Will be another area that I'll be involved in the new year. But it's again trying to figure out where I can make the most difference and make the biggest impact. But that's how what the new year sort of holds for me.
No crazy hobbies or?
Not really. Live on a beautiful golf course. We're blessed to live over here in Belmont Country Club. I live on the golf course, but not a golfer. But still love it. I guess the hobby again is just trying to live a good life with Donna and Tashi and me, and again the book has taken on a life of itself. Really, it's opened up a variety of ways that I believe that God is leading me in through this book to make a bigger impact. So I think I'm being led toward helping build a new generation of leaders, and I think this book will be the catalyst for that.
I love that. How can people buy it? Is it just on Amazon, or do you have a different website?
They can go to Amazon. Clearly type in Tales from Tibet, Tails, Tales from Tibet. Take you right to the book, hardbound, paperback, or ebook. But you can come to the Tashi Chronicles, and I'll sign and personalize one and send it to you. So you can get them through the TashiChronicles.com, and I'll be honored. And Tashi's got a stamp made of her front left paw.
Aww.
So she and I will both sign it, and we'll inscribe it and personalize it for someone. Makes a wonderful Christmas gift.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. Now, is there any other, just to kind of wrap it up, any messages or any special
No, I
announcements you want
think,
to share?
like I said, the book is a foundation on being positive, surrounding yourself with good, positive folks, learning what you can to become a more effective leader, starting young to develop strong leadership qualities, and then just keep honing them over the years, I think is what we need as a country.
I love that. Thank you so much for spending time with
Thank you
me
for
today
inviting me.
and sharing this.
Thank you so much.